Do you like nasty little surprises when you open up the cottage? How about the nasty little surprise that any damage you have isn't covered? That's not good. But Larry Hoover can help you with that. Please help you prevent that situation. Larry, thanks for joining us to talk about cottage time. Um, what can people do to prevent this situation?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Craig. Great question. It's cottage season and so on. So at this time, I ask everyone, who do you know who owns a cottage? I wanted to share with you a few of the common errors and mistakes that I've seen in cottage policies over my career. And I will say that of the different kinds of property that are insured, this is most commonly the number one type of property that has the most issues. So let's start off with the big one, water damage. And there's different kinds of water damage. Number one, I find that coverages are way too low. They do not cover you if there's certain kinds of water that damages your cottage. Number two, most policies do not cover the collapse of your roof from the weight of ice and snow. And most people do not know that. Number three, and this is a really good one. I've seen a few of these whereby policies show that the cottage is within 13 kilometers of a fire station. No, most are not. So people are open up to hearing claim denied. We're going to give you nothing. Number four, a lot of people are not insured because they've upgraded their place and they haven't told their insurance company. So if something bad happens, they could be out tens of thousands of dollars or even more because their insurance person didn't know. Another interesting one, contents inside the coverage, coverages in the cottage. They don't give you a lot of coverage for this sort of thing. I've heard from a lady a few weeks ago. She's got a carpet that's worth $5,000 alone in her cottage. So she was grossly underinsured for everything else inside there as well too. Here's one that most people have never heard of. There's certain kinds of bunkies that are not accepted by insurance companies. And especially because of COVID, people are starting to upgrade and update their cottages and their properties. So bunkies are getting to be pretty popular. And in some cases, they may have a little kitchen or a washroom in there as well too. A lot of insurance companies will not let you do that with your bunkie. So you could hear claim denied again, even if the damage is to your main cottage, not your bunkie. Another one, underinsured due to missing items. So have you been asked about your decks and your docks? Docks can cost tens of thousands of dollars, and same with decks as well too. Most insurance people do not ask the extensive questions that they should be about the cost of replacement for these things. And finally, probably the biggest one that could ruin your life is liability. What happens if you're sued? A lot of people like to really enjoy themselves on the waterfront. Alcohol and water, higher risk. And I see people grossly underinsured if you are sued. And I'm pretty confident if something really bad happens, you will be sued, and that can ruin the rest of your life. So these are some of the things that I see and I correct for cottage owners.
And how easy are those things to correct?
Oh, they're very easy because I present these issues in the form of my policy audit review report. So you will see all the line items with these coverages right beside my best quote, right beside your current policy, and you'll see the red lines and you'll see the errors. So one of two things can happen. You can go back and ask your insurance person if these coverages are offered with your cottage policy. Chances are the answer is no. I like to brag about one of my insurance companies I work with because they offer the same coverage for cottages as they do for your house, which is outstanding. So you pay a little bit more, but you are vastly better protected.
Yeah, as you know, we've talked in the past. You said people are all there. Seems their sole motivator is to get their insurance as low as possible, but you know, there's no replacement cost on those precious things that you've lost, or the price you're going to pay to replace them if you have to.
Absolutely. And it's kind of like critical illness insurance. If somebody's diagnosed with cancer, unfortunately, for example, you can't turn the clock back and say, oh no, now I want that critical illness policy from my financial advisor. Same here, you can't do it.
Larry, how do people get a hold of you?
Well, there's a couple of ways, Craig. My cell number is listed there in front of you. That is my personal cell. Another way I stand out, most of my competitors will not reveal that. And number two is my email address, larry@policyreviews.ca. Be a pleasure to help support and protect people.
Larry, thank you for giving us some insight into the problems people can have, you know, at the cottage. I think it's going to surprise a lot of people, and it's a surprisingly easy fix. Thanks so much for your time.
My pleasure, Craig. Let's wake some folks up.